Getting the show. The Brooklyn Nets were eliminated. Just real quick, you don't gotta go crazy, but I kind of just want to hear your expectations just going into the off season. What you expect just for them for next season, and just sort of just what did you think of this season? If you could just kind of just wrap it up in a bow, just to give them their proper farewell, Jalen. I feel very bad for you, um, Jalen. Go ahead. Just
Yeah,
your
I feel like the season was definitely a mess. Started off the just starting off with Kyrie drama and Kevin Durant wanting out in free agents in the off season. So it definitely started off awkward. So they figured that out, started the season, didn't have too much success, and like I've been saying, like Steve Nash was the fault, and then they fired Steve Nash. Jock Vaughn got there, Jock Vaughn stepped up as the coach, won like 10 in a row, went on a stride. Again, Kyrie drama, or a little bit before that, the Kyrie drama with the Jewish thing, and then eventually he got traded along with KD. You acquired, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dory Finney-Smith, Dinwiddie. I felt like something like to what Cam Johnson said. They try to combine like three teams in one, so it was definitely hard to figure out, how to win games and all. But they somehow, some way, strive through it. Got the sixth spot, and I feel like there's a lot of bright spots, with Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson going forward. I feel like Dinwiddie, um, it was definitely an uncomfortable situation for Dinwiddie too, because he's never been a starting point guard. He's always been a shooting guard, so he never really had to facilitate an offense like that. So he had to adjust to that as well. But going forward, I definitely expect probably them hunting like a big name star. I've been hearing them going after Damian Lillard. I'm not really for it too much, to be honest. But if it happens, I'll be open to it. But just more so just developing everybody else. I feel like Cam Thomas as well. Um, he needs to be he needs to develop more of it himself more as a player. I feel like if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's kind of like a non-factor on the court. The only thing he knows how to do is really just step back and shoot. I feel like he needs to add a little bit more to his game, try to affect the game more in other ways, defensively, playmaking, some way somehow. But I feel like he just needed to develop more as a player. But going forward, I'm pretty confident in them, to be honest. So I'm just curious to see what they have in the offseason. They definitely have a lot of picks as well. So it's definitely something to look at.
no, I'm gonna let you go, sir. But I just think it's so funny, yo. I swear, I've known Jalen for so long, and the way he talks, he just thinks he's so slick. The way he just puts things together sometimes. I mean, it sounds good, but you pinpointed everything that happened in the season. Once again, you blame Steve Nash. You did all that. So Ben Simmons had no effect on the NBA on the Nets season. Just asking a simple question.
Ben Simmons didn't really do
All right,
much.
no, all right. I'm just
Nothing
asking.
to really
You
talk about.
all right, fine. I'll leave it at that. Sev, you can go ahead.
To break down the Brooklyn Nets roller coaster of a season, I'm glad to see the way that they ended the season. Although, be it they ended off with like what 11-13 record, post trade deadline. I like the young new assets that they got within Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. So something moving forward, you could build around those two guys. I'm thinking you bring back Dorian Finney-Smith. Spencer Dinwiddie was just flat out awful in this postseason. I don't know what the hell happened to him. Just seeing him, I just feel like Kyle Kuzma was right. He made himself look dumb this postseason, but that's besides the fact. I'm not looking for him
Shout out
to
Kyle Kuzma.
or shout out to Kyle Kuzma, just Dinwiddie as well, and then just all the other guys
And I have another question for you, Jalen. 'Cause I have one more question for you that I want to
we're
hear.
gonna get to the questions. But yeah, picking up where I left off.
My fault,
What
sir.
who else? Joe Harris. Yeah, Joe Harris and Patty Mills. They gotta go. Like you really gotta. You have a lot of questions to address within the roster, but the most definite thing that comes out of it is that you got two young star players that you could build around, as well as Nick Claxton. I want to see his development goals because he's had a solid season. he had a solid season, but just at times just he looked like too out of like control. But other than that, that's the bright spot about it. But when we look back at the whole season, this is not where we had the Nets. The Nets basically got swept for the second time. For the second time, last year they got swept with KD and Kyrie. Now they got swept with Mikal Bridges. This is just crazy. Just looking back at it, Sean Marks just he baited the team. Like he messed up the team once again. Kyrie Irving left. KD left. Who else? We were left with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons didn't even play the postseason as well. I'm looking at everything that went wrong for this
When
Brooklyn.
does he play the postseason?
And mind you, this was against your former team. I don't know if it was intentional. This was against your former team, bro. So you're gonna have to go to Philly, and they was gonna boo you for the last postseason that you put on. But other than that, just overall a mess to begin it. But the way you ended, you have at least a bright spot moving forward. As well as guys like Cam Thomas. What are you gonna do with Cam Thomas? I feel like it's either you gotta develop him and give him more of a role, or you gotta just let him go. Because at the same time, you see a guy that puts up like 40-point bowl games at least 4 or 5 times in the season. There's something there, but I just feel like you have to let him play through his mistakes, and fully invest it. But just looking forward, I just have to say this was like a up and down season. It ended better than it started. Jack Vaughn definitely gonna have more time to regroup with his players. Actually implement the system he wants, and just moving forward, we should just see like a better brand of Nets basketball next year.
In terms of the Brooklyn Nets, um, I do feel Jack Vaughn is a better coach than Steve Nash. Even though I think that if Steve Nash had this particular roster, he might have fared well than when he had the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, just with the expectations, fit, and just things of that nature. Shout out to Kevin Durant. I can't really blame him for too much because I think you do see if you really do watch him, Jalen, I will say you was right. He just does want to play basketball. So you are definitely right on that aspect. Kyrie Irving is just Kyrie Irving. You may feel one way about him. I may feel one way about him. He's definitely a talented basketball player. We definitely agree on that. I just feel sometimes he wants everything to go his way, and that doesn't work on a basketball team. I just, uh, the past couple of spots he was at, I just can't see what has really worked. But shout out to him. Let's see if he goes back to Dallas. But sort of what you said that Sean Marks like messed it up again. I think him losing KD and Kyrie, but you get Mikal Bridges, who turns out that could be an all-star type player, and Cam Johnson, who's looking like he can at least be the third best player on a championship team. I think he did an okay job for everything that just happened so quickly. Um, but then just moving on, they went 11-13. Made it to the playoffs. Avoided the play in. It shows they were working hard. We spoke about earlier. I just think the matchup was too lopsided. And I think y'all brought up the two question marks. You're just gonna have to act as an organization. How much faith do we have in a Cam Thomas? Do we really want to see what this kid really has? And then the whole Ben Simmons situation. Um, I think a team will take Ben Simmons. I think as much as it's fun to say no one will take him, I think a team will take Ben Simmons. But is he gonna play there? What impact will he have? I don't know. I don't really know what to do with him. I did think he played a factor into the Brooklyn Nets failing in the beginning of the season. I definitely think he did. We can pull up stats, whatever you want to do. It's just a fact. Um, and moving forward, hope they stick with Jock Vaughn. They keep building around Mikal Bridges. And you just go from there. But you brought up Spencer Dinwiddie. Remember we argued, Jalen. So Dennis Schroeder and Spencer Dinwiddie. Right now, just who looks better? Just asking.
What was I can't I didn't hear the question.
Who just at today's current day just looks better in NBA standings? Dennis Schroeder, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Dennis Schroeder looks better, but yeah, I still don't feel like he's better than Spencer Dinwiddie.
Respect.